Okay, now we're going to take a look at the different tools under the first tab, rhythm. We've already looked at the rhythm generator. We went through that. Now we're going to check out the rhythm, and the first one up is this offset notes. And I've created this phrase, simple quarter notes here. And on purpose, I left myself some room. It's a 4-bar phrase, but I left measures 2 and 4 blank because we're going to be moving notes, offsetting them to the right. So we need some space in order to kind of see some musical things here. All right, so I've got my settings here, and one of the key settings is the snap mode. And here we have the offset. So right here, 430 seconds. These are eighth notes. But I've got my snap set to 1/4. So what you'll see is that the notes are going to jump by a quarter note because my snap is set to quarter. Let me undo that. I'll set this to eighth, and then you'll see now they're increasing by an eighth note. But in the context of this musical phrase, the eighth note kind of shifting over by an eighth note is not going to sound that good to my ear. That's okay. So the more I move this slider to the right, the greater the shift. Now when I say shift, really there's two things going on. There's the notes are getting longer, and they're kind of pushing the following notes in after them, and the following note, like all the notes are progressively getting longer as I move this slider. And that's because I have the keep length and rest. If I go to keep length, then we start ending up with some spaces. Let's see. No. I think it's this button here, keep pre-note rest. Yeah, that. So if you don't have this clicked, the shift is going to move these notes and not make them longer. See that? As I pull the slider to the right, the notes are shifting, but they're staying the same length, the same quarter note length. And you may want that. But it's pretty jagged. But sometimes you'll want that. But I'm going to put it back on keep pre-note rest, and then you see it's basically filling in the lengths to keep them in a legato mode. Okay, so if you notice, the original phrase has got 4 quarter notes in bar 1, bar 2 is blank, and 4 quarter notes in bar 3. So if we start applying the offset, we can see the first, it kind of does this progressively. So the first offset is this D, and it's adding a eighth note to the D. And notice that we have our snap on eighth. Now if I change that to 16th, it jumps back. Okay, so this snap kind of determines like how much the shift is going to be. But I'm going to put it back on eighth. Now if I went to a quarter, you'll see that it adds a quarter note to this D, and then everything else moves to the right. Okay? So I'll go to a 16th, and now you can see it's just moving the D a 16th note. Alright, so the more we pull this slider to the right, the more notes will be engaged. They'll become longer because we've got this keep pre-rest. This is kind of like the legato mode. And so watch, I'm gonna slide it, and okay, now the F, well, what happened here? Let's see. Okay, first, oh, okay, let's change this back to eighth. Okay. Okay, so we get an eighth note duration added to the D. And if I slide it some more, the F is increasing in duration. And I slide it some more. Now the D is increasing. So you get the idea. So let's hear this. And I'm going to slide a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, so I think you get the idea of this offset, and let's see, we can use the dice to kind of change. Once we have a setting, we can click on the dice to change the lengths or the amount of offset. So that's really handy until we get something we like. I guess the best thing is to have it playing. And then just try different, just keep hitting the dice until you get something you like. Okay, now there's one other thing we can do, and that is we can lock these notes, and then they will shift, but they will not change in duration. So we can, in other words, we can change we can change the duration of the first four notes in bar 1. But the durational lock on this, there will be a shift. You'll see what I mean. See that? They're shifting to the right. I'm talking about these notes here. They're shifting to the right, but they're not changing in duration. So that might be what you want in a lot of instances. And I'll change the snap to a quarter. stop there. So to my ears, this is the best result that I've heard so far. So let's look what really happened. Well, really the only change from the original phrase was that this D became a half note instead of a quarter note. And then these two notes were shifted over to make room for it. And then these four notes were shifted off by a quarter note. So I like that. Okay. Now you can play, with this snap mode. Might be interesting to use like a triplet value. And I think a lot will depend on what's going on, beneath this melody or on top of this. If this is like a bass line, whatever. In other words, we're listening to this in isolation, which really kind of makes it hard to, hear this in context of your music. But I think you get the general idea of this tool. So we're going to move on to the next one in the next video, and we'll see what that does. Okay? All right. See you in the next one.